wants one, I'm gonna get mine. I'll do the crime if you can't do the time. Don't tell me how you're off and down. When you're smiling in my face, but you play me like a clown. It's your fool, bitch. So just step back. I'm mad that when I come down straight, I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. I'm back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. Won't want people stay, they sway. 1, 2 day is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises all the time. Don't cross the line, and you know it's right. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
Trouble time, get something in your rear. Trouble time, get something in your rear. Trouble time, get something in your rear. Trouble time, get something in your rear.
Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? 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 Who you wanna roll with?
Okay, I had to mute you guys. Sorry. Because
Can you hear me?
It creates
try this
echo
again.
on the song.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's better now. Biggie Smalls.
Where are you?
There we go.
Hello.
Hello. Hello there.
Hi there. I am.
Okay.
How
I'll
are
see you there. Bye.
I'm digging the new look.
Bye. All right, Jim's en route.
Huh?
Jim's en route.
Yeah. En route. Yeah. He'll be on in 2 minutes. He said.
2 minutes.
That's what he said.
Well, we got 2 minutes to talk then. Because when he gets on, he doesn't take a breath.
No, I know. He doesn't. When you said he doesn't take a breath the other day, I was like, you know what? I say that all the time about Jim.
Oh yeah, I love him, but he's got a story for everything, and he's great. Like he knows like dates and shit. Like he knows a lot
Yeah,
and shares it.
He knows my dates. He knows how much I do in a circle when I do my activism in the intersection. He actually figured it out how many miles I do.
Yeah, I know. He's told me that.
Like what a mind. Where do you think of this shit? Like, too.
Weed. Lots of
So Megan will be on at 5. Okay.
Awesome. Did you guys listen to the CRC meeting?
No, and I wanted
I just got home.
It was interesting.
Yeah. What happened?
Well, Laughlin kept upping the fines. Like there was a fine for like $7,000, and Laughlin was like, "I think we should raise it to $10,000." A couple times he did that. A couple times. Whoa, he's laying the hammer down already. He just started. He's like, "Oh."
Did you see the MPP is doing a blast about home grow in Jersey? Did I send you that? I thought I sent it to you.
What is that?
Marijuana policy project
What are they saying about it?
that we need home grow.
Oh, they're okay.
And they're reaching out to politicians, etc.
Oh, nice.
All right.
You will see before I die or go missing.
Well, one guy was yelling at the CRC. They almost kicked him out of the meeting. He was yelling.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
I had heard there was going to be another big shutdown, or
There's a partial shutdown. Yeah,
uh,
I think it's this weekend.
Yeah, manufacturer got shut down, so it's affecting the whole industry.
right, the one from last week or another one.
Yeah, the one they just fined them. They took their license away for 6 months. Oh yeah, they're in big trouble.
It was a really, really. If I could have figured out how to send it to you, I would have sent it off. But it's on Substack, and it was a really bad bashing of which you don't usually see on Substack. You don't see those kind of articles about cannabis and how, what criminals we are and how destructive this is and people are getting addicted and blah 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 blah. And if I hear one more story about cannabis hyperemesis, I am going to start throwing up myself.
As you should. On people.
I don't like to throw up though.
Yeah, me either.
Do you go out of your way not to? Right?
Yes.
Ugh. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
It's the same microphone that didn't work last podcast.
Well, yeah, remember mine didn't work either?
Yeah, well, mine worked, but I had to hold it up here and talk loud. This is great. Kind of liked it, though, because, I could hide behind it. I looked a lot better with my hand in front of my face. Hey!
Hello.
Am I insulting myself these days?
Only you can do that.
Yeah, but I got the best comebacks when I know what's coming too, though. So that just gets plain scary, though.
Was there any talk about home grow today with the CRC or no? You're muted.
God help me. Not from the people, not from the CRC. They don't say nothing about home grow. They haven't said a word about home grow in 3 years. They haven't said a word about wheelchair access to dispensaries or lounges in 3 years here. Just
Yeah.
to be fair. But no, nothing. One guy almost got kicked out for talking about home grow today. He was yelling.
Really?
Was he asking questions or just offering advice? Or, in other words, talking about home grow? What was he saying?
He was just yelling that we need it, and I should go find it.
Well, if he was yelling, that might be the key word. I don't know.
It wasn't really appropriate, but maybe it was.
Well, I'm just saying, you give somebody ground to do that. Even I know that.
New York Presbyterian nurses, they rejected their contract. I'm going to have to wait for my paperwork again. This has been a month now. Heavy snow is expected to begin tonight.
Oh, shit. Oh.
Let's see where that is.
That's up where you are, not down here, I don't think.
What, by me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me see what my weather says.
I could be wrong, but as I remember it coming in, the bottom of the activity kind of crossed central Jersey.
I'm not central Jersey.
Yeah, I know. You're up in where the snow.
I'm central Jersey.
Well, then you might
I'm not. Huh?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not I could do the split screen and look it up, but then I'd lose this and I wouldn't be able to find it, and I'd have to go back on. What
it says on the phone, it just says digital signs flashed winter storm warning, avoid traffic after 9 p.m. Huh.
Yeah, I'm just partly cloudy.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Not far from the city center, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, it's coming from the northwest here.
Yeah, cutting right across New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it's above it.
Shift.
And it doesn't really look that big.
Yeah, it doesn't even look cold. Okay. Yeah. Well,
And that's it.
well,
You know, we're going to have a solar eclipse in August, right?
no.
No.
Yeah. Full solar eclipse.
Fall. Ooh.
I see if they keep following it, and they keep trying to come up with a specific date.
So is the fullness of that visible
Hey,
from
Johnny.
this car part of the country?
I'll tell you in a second.
Johnny.
Yeah, I think so. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see.
Johnny, you can join us on StreamYard if you want. You have the link. Same link. If you want to hop on, it's fun. We love having you on. I'm going to look for the CO2 meter and find that yelling part. It's so long.
I mean, I'm not. You know me. I'm not against yelling, but it was it instigated. In other words, was he not getting his due process at the during the meeting? Now, you know, and then I could. I mean,
Let's find out.
Need the Richard full license.
Male visitors,
No visitors, period. A regular none.
Detective Vitello should know.
He works, he thinks I might be able to raise.
What are we listening to on the podcast? What is that?
something about Detective.
Not
Patel.
Vermeer.
Yeah, here's something. Turn it up. It's interesting. While I do this.
What is this?
Is it gone now?
Yeah.
It was my TV. I'm sorry.
Was it anything good?
It looks like a
Like, it might not have been.
SVU. It's
Might not-
SVU.
Might not have been that good for Detective Fratello, as I heard.
Yeah, I think it's SVU because I see
Yeah, forecast for weekend snow.
yeah, we
In
have
New Jersey.
nothing. We're gonna be in the 40s.
Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour.
It could be in the 40s. Reminds me of a Rodney Dangerfield joke. I don't know why I thought of it, but you know, it is. That's my dad. If I go out and skate, he'd say, "Wait till it becomes a little warmer." I don't know why I find that so funny. Though, wait till it becomes warmer.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
not-
you
it's-
do think it's funny.
Well, I mean, at first it sounds like it's a good parental advice. You don't want your kids going out when it's too cold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they figure it out.
Yeah.
I do.
Used to go ice skating, even when there was a danger of falling through the ice because it was on Horseshoe Pond in the North Plainfield, I think that is. And I don't think it was more than 2 feet deep anywhere. So you get wet, but you know.
This is a good strain that I smoked.
What is it?
Glass Meadows, they're doing sun-grown flower now. These were smalls. I don't like smalls because they don't work. These, on the other hand, kick my ass. They're really good, and it's called Papaya Crush. And I said it should be called Papaya Punch
Yeah.
because it really packs a punch. I'm so
Tuesday is the solar eclipse.
Tuesday.
February 17th.
Really?
That's what it says. The moon will pass between the earth and sun on February 17th, called the Ring of Fire. Let's see if we will be able to see it.
Well, don't look directly at it.
7-Eleven will give out glasses like they always do.
The next the total solar eclipse, the first one I was talking about, it's August 12th. See, I said it
Yeah.
was August.
Yeah.
August 12th. No, I won't. I was going to say I'll be in Italy then. No, I won't. I'm going to go to Italy and they're not going to let me back in this country.
When are you doing that?
Is that what you're hoping?
No, I'm not hoping.
Hoping they keep you out or hoping you're going?
No, just hoping they leave me alone
What are you going to Italy for?
because I'm Italian.
Oh, you know,
Duh.
do you have people over there?
Yes,
All right.
but that's not why I'm going. We're
Why?
just going.
You don't
We're
like your
going to,
people?
we're going to go to Rome for a week.
Oh,
We'll be in Florence for a day, and then the rest of the time over to the Amalfi Coast.
so I'm assuming you've made this trip more than once before, or is this a new experience? Because you don't sound like, I'd be like, holy crap, I'm going to Italy or something, you know?
Not that much excites me.
Yeah.
No, I'm more about the holy shit. Are they going to let me back in this country? They won't give me my global entry.
Yeah, well, as long as you're not getting any unsolicited correspondence from the White House or anything, you know, you probably
Well, yeah, I know,
You
right?
should be okay.
You'd be okay.
I know.
Should I slap
Jeez,
myself?
already. Leave me alone. I'm not anybody.
All right. Since we have 4 board members here, I'd like to do some board business since we didn't have our meeting.
Okay.
So let's call it to order. We'll do a roll call. Roll call is Lefty, Liz, Sue, and Jim. Want to approve last month's or last quarter's minutes.
And Johnny is a guest.
Johnny's
Yeah.
a guest. I'd like to approve last month's minutes. Can I second that?
Do we have
Second.
Do we have to know what they were?
Yeah, you
I
can look
guess-
it up. They're on the docs, Google Docs. That's where we all have access.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but what I'm asking is, do I have to do that before I go? I approve.
Up to you.
No, I approve.
Up to you.
And I second.
Carry on.
Now, something about the CRC bothered me because there was one commissioner that said, I reluctantly say yes on advice of counsel. So advice of counsel may change your vote, but otherwise you would vote differently. So why doesn't she just vote that way and just...
Didn't counsel advise that person not to say shit like that?
Oh.
You know, was counsel somewhere going, no.
Why do you gotta vote what this guy says? I don't get it. It's just frustrating.
If it was a legal issue or something, you know, that was being voted on? It seems like,
You want to come up here?
yeah,
Listen to the CRC meeting. It was very interesting and very animated. So I'd like to make two motions while we're here.
let's do it.
The first motion, since we have a vacancy for vice president,
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I would like to nominate Sue DiGregorio Rosen for vice president.
Let's vote quick before she comes back.
Yeah, let's
What?
just tell her.
What? I heard my name. What'd you say? I heard my name.
Oh, okay. By the way, Sue, you know how I kid around, but
Yeah.
sometimes if it's hard to tell, just say, "Hey, slap yourself, would you?" You know,
Okay. Well,
and I'll know. All right. Go ahead.
What did you say about me?
No, I just said let's vote before you come back.
Yeah,
Okay, but
Yeah.
now, okay, we got to vote.
We
Let's
can't
vote.
What are we voting for?
we can't vote. We could just put it on the table, and the board has to vote. Everyone has to vote.
What are we voting for?
Okay, so there's a vacancy for vice president. It's Tiva Cross. Chris can't do both. He can't be vice president here and councilman. So we have to have a new vice president. So I'm nominating
I'll do it.
you.
You can nominate me.
I did.
Oh, good. Yeah, I just wanted to do it before you had a chance.
To
the
say
chance
no?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was trying to end around, and I opened my mouth.
I kind of heard you
Nothing.
anyway.
I
Yeah,
was hoping you heard me.
yeah.
So we have to second it, and we're just going to put it vote for a vote. Put it forward for a vote.
All right, put it for a vote.
Yes,
I second.
it's on the table.
I
And
think,
so that should be fun. And my second order of business is to invite Johnny on as a board member.
I think that I second that too.
Yes.
Okay. So that's going to be on the table for the next meeting and for the vote chat, whatever. You can vote in the chat that we have our little chat.
I said yes, 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 and yes.
So Johnny, you know what that means? That you take over getting the guests.
Only if you don't come back. Only if you don't come back from Italy.
And I'll be so busy
Uh,
being vice president. Oh my God. I won't have time.
yeah.
The VA is surgically removing a dermoid cyst near my eye in a few weeks. Oh, that's for my grandson. Sorry. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought everyone was muted. What's going on over there?
Mm,
So there's not much
nothing.
cannabis news. The only cannabis news I see is hypermesis in Virginia, a bunch of stuff going on there, and just Kevin Sabet kind of crap here.
Yeah.
You know, the big mistake to legalize marijuana from Fox News, of course.
Oh, yeah, I read that. Yeah.
New
What
York,
about the New York Times? What about that piece?
Well, I had issues, obviously, to take with that. It's sort of like it's relativity is missing. And to me, I say anytime you're going to go that direction, you got to put cigarettes and alcohol right alongside it to have relativity with how we treat different things that have benefits that
Recreational.
harmful and well, no, that have unintended detrimental effects or whatever. Everything should be on the table, but one shouldn't have a higher bar to cross than the others, and should be factored in which is safer.
Yes.
There was an organization started by Steve, somebody over from MPP, I forget his last name, Fox. He's the late Steve Fox, and I forget who else. Anyway, it was in Colorado, an organization they called Safer, where all they did is compare exactly that if hypothetically you found out that your child was using a drug, would you be hoping it was at least the safest?
Of course.
Would you want it to be the one that was safer, meaning, well, two would be safer? So they pretty much compared the similarities in the relativity of the perceived detriments of each. And obviously, I've said forever, you can find, you walked into say a banquet room, and the banquet had been going on for a while. And 4 tables were drinking and 4 tables were smoking. And you walked in, you'd know really quick which was which. I mean, really, really quick. And which table would you belong at? Now, I'll tell you, there's times in my life where I'd be the one who was the rowdiest, maybe. I'm saying that. I'm not saying, But, safer. And so if what is it? People are people are throwing up a lot when they smoke pot these days or something. Is that what I'm hearing? And,
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Relative to alcohol, I would wonder, because I don't hear people complaining about people throwing up if they drink alcohol. It's kind of like,
No, I know.
That's a given.
It's well known.
It's a given,
So therefore, my question would be: do the people that throw up when that happens keep smoking it then, or do they stop? it's like that's their
They
potential.
go and do it again every
What else
Friday.
are they doing?
You know,
What
Half
else
the
are they doing?
time they don't realize that it's the actual flower that they're smoking that's making them sick. It's got pesticides or it's not flushed out properly. That's most likely the main reason why they don't want people to grow it at home in New Jersey is because they don't know what the hell they're doing.
That's a dumb reason.
yeah, keep that. And no, keep that to yourself too, because that's
Yeah,
gonna
really.
be on Sabet's playbook. So like,
You got to think like them, though. That's
no,
how they think.
not though.
100%.
You're right. You got to think like them, but I wouldn't say, like though or nonetheless. No, right at the top, you do. You have to be able to see everything. That's where the understanding comes from. And that's where, like, if I have to write something like an email to somebody, when I read it, I try my best to be that person, like try to get into their head and think, okay, what's this about here? And that
Okay, so the other wait, let me interrupt you.
okay.
So the other question that I would ask is, do they have an eating disorder? And this is why there needs to be a cannabis nurse navigator in every facility to ask those kinds of questions, because you didn't think of that, right? You didn't think of anybody purging.
No,
Oh,
no.
See, the cannabis nurse
Exactly.
navigator would
yeah, there you go. That's a
be
good
right
way
on
to slip that in.
her
Well,
his list of
there's
things to do.
a lot of people would have no idea what that is and should, because
Mhm.
that's like
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's big.
Good
There's
one.
more. There's so many eating disorders out there. There's so many people that have eating disorders.
Mhm.
And then, and now they're doing all these weight loss drugs, which causes the same kind of reaction.
oh,
to
and
women,
yeah.
So like, all this stuff, they need to be able to, I don't know, what's the word I want to use? Diagnose properly. How about you do,
As
First, you
good
got to
as-
do you got to do tox screen, because you can't just say because they told you that.
Yeah. Well, establishing cause and effect, it takes something other than, I mean, well, it's like 80% of the people who smoke marijuana go on to use harder drugs or whatever, and it's sort of like,
It's like the mushroom thing, right? People were puking from from psilocybin because they were eating mushrooms that had cow poop on them.
Okay. Did you know?
There's also that, but with the mushrooms too, the flow of serotonin into your body also will purge your digestive tract too. I've noticed that as well with mushrooms, even microdosing, not grown on cow poop.
I find that 99% of people who grow up drinking milk go on to drink alcohol.
I found that to be true.
Yep.
I wouldn't have drank alcohol unless I drank milk first.
Okay.
Water.
Okay, here's another one though. If you really don't want your child, if you didn't want your children to ride on motorcycles because they're very dangerous and you didn't want that to happen, don't let them ride a bicycle, because everybody that ever got motorcycle rode a bicycle first. Fucking 100%.
Oh yeah.
Not me.
Okay, yeah.
I got a moped and I got scared when that thing got up to like 65, and I never wanted to ride a motorcycle.
Well,
I rode on the back of a motorcycle to Woodstock. That's my claim to fame.
wow, that's pretty good claim.
And then I got punished for 30 days. But I finally
Worth
showed up
every minute.
home.
My cousin was there. Maybe you saw him.
Yeah, maybe.
I tried an alternative to Woodstock and went to the Poconos Festival 2 years later. That had like 300, 400,000 people there. It was a very good imitation, Yeah, it's pretty.
Who
pretty
played?
wild. What's that?
Who played? Do you remember?
Actually, it took a real lot to get right out into the crowd where you could view the music.
Mm-hmm.
But from behind it and shit, it was just so much fun everywhere else. I've never seen that many people and had a park like almost 6 miles away. And,
Mm-hmm.
the whole experience of going in, not on the main road to the Pocono, the raceway, but to come in more of a local way that was so snaking with cars going there, bumper to bumper at about 20 miles an hour. And then it slowed down. And then all of a sudden, it was like stopping. There was nowhere to go. It was gridlock. So you'd pull off the road, to the side, wherever you could when it got there, and you'd walk. And we're about 5 miles away. So, it was just real similar, I would suppose, trekking into Woodstock. And I'm not proud of it, but I went with. Well, I wasn't married, but it was a woman I was going to get married to. Went with her, and we had to carry the cooler up with like stuff you would bring one hand each, and then you'd switch sides. And it was a long. When the hell are we getting here? When are we getting here? Finally, we got there. The first vehicle parked inside was a station wagon with the tailgate down. Marijuana everywhere, different amounts, different stuff. I mean, like sell openly. It was like odd, and I love that. So what that caused me to do though is we couldn't find the people right away that were going to meet there because that was almost impossible. And I
So you
decided
just hung out with those people.
no. We went back. We walked the other way into the crowd arriving. We walked around a curve. It was about like a quarter mile away, not even, maybe an eighth of a mile away. We walked around and just sat down on the hood of somebody's car like we were hanging out. And people were tired and we're going, hey, 2 more miles. You can make it. You can make it. You got 2 more miles is all you got. And they were, everyone. They left so disappointed to hear that.
Kindly
And-
send all tit things to Liquid Church. What is that supposed to say? It says
Tittings.
tit things.
I didn't see it.
Side things. We're in liquid church mode right now. Let me get out of liquid church mode. This is sativa cross mode. Hold on. Let me change it.
Yeah, tithings. I thought the same thing.
I didn't bother reading it. I'm sorry.
I didn't either, obviously.
Well, I did because Jim was talking.
Anyway, I'm talking about screwing people. But I thought we made people really happier because, like, within lying to them that they still had miles to go.
Hi, Marina.
Yeah, hi,
Miles.
Marina.
They were happy.
Miles to go before you sleep.
Hi, Bungolio.
One Julio. Hi. What about almond milk? What about it? I drink almond milk.
What
How
about
do you,
I'm
do you-
allergic to regular milk.
how do you milk an almond?
With a blender.
It's a
like we did
surprise.
with the weed.
Mm,
There's no little teats anywhere. Good.
absolutely, and we are proud
Little
of
teeth.
these.
Little
We are
teeth.
very proud of who we are.
I'm very proud of my balm. Had maybe just it's a fingerful. It's potluck, and you can't. It was a little not mushy. It wasn't real hard, so
What
Once
are
I-
you
once
talking
I-
about?
Yeah.
Hash.
What?
Hash?
Oh, hash. I loved hash.
Oh, I love hash.
Hash, you say?
I love me some hash. And,
Oh,
and keep an eye, hash holes are going to start really coming out in Jersey.
we should
They're
start.
big in California. I've had some, and man, are they good! And they're coming out. There's one company that's two. I think Lily does it too, but there's a second company coming out with them, And
Don't they have them in Massachusetts at the dispensaries? Aren't they called mass holes?
I don't know. All
Does
I
it-
know is they do have them in California.
You know, I find I like calling it hashish now and then just because it's so much fun to say. I don't know why, you know,
Hashish.
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 That's the correct name.
I know.
It sounds
And
civilized.
yeah,
Hashish.
hashish. Yeah.
Hashish.
He's
And
up.
you're very well informed.
Mhm.
I used to see it coming off the docks in over in on the Hudson River. Big slabs stamped. It was pretty
Really?
cool. I had a very interesting childhood. Yes.
Yes. Let's take a vote. I vote yes. Do we have a second? Johnny seconds
I
it.
second that.
You did. Yeah.
I did.
You know, does anybody remember palm leaf hash? It was called. It was
No.
it was around right when Hawaiian became
Hawaiian
thing.
hash buds.
Well, yeah, I would imagine, assuming that isn't just a marketing name, you know. But
One time, check this out. I got a good story. One time, I was going into the city with a friend of mine, and we were having a major snowstorm in Jersey. So I took the boyfriend I had at the time. He had a truck, so I took his truck, and we were going to buy some blow. So we went across the bridge. I dropped my kids off at my mother's, and I went down the FDR sideways. I was like, hold on.
Oh my God.
So, okay. So we got what we wanted. And we also got Hawaiian hash buds, you know, which was pretty cool to be able to get at the time. And we came out of the Lincoln Tunnel, and that was it. I stopped. That nobody was moving. I couldn't even see where I was. So that was it. 14 hours later, I said, okay, fuck this, because we ran out of everything. And my friend and I, who had, you know, of course, we were distributing to others. And we drove the truck back to Patterson and then pulled in front of the bar where this boyfriend I had at the time was working. And that's when the truck ran out of gas, just when I pulled in the front of it.
Wow.
So that was pretty good. And it was 4:00 in the morning by then. And you know, everybody was still sitting there waiting for the delivery. And I was like, well, sorry. But
Cheer.
everybody was like, yeah, we know we would have done the same thing. Sorry.
Oh man.
We had to entertain ourselves. Yeah, there were no cell phones then, you know.
No.
It was during that time.
It was a guessing game.
That's when you really had to trust your friends.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'll meet you at 7:15 at the park bench.
Yeah. Marina.
We had pagers.
No, not then either.
We still got payphones in my town.
Do they? Do they work?
Yeah. It's where you order the blow from.
Huh.
yeah, it becomes kind of evident when shows do something cool, like get somebody in their early 20s or younger and say, okay, what is this? And it'll be a rotary phone. It's a telephone. How do you use it?
Mm-hmm.
They see the numbers. They say, yeah, they don't. It's like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
here's a here's a map. Oh, a map. Yeah, a map. Can you find where you are on this map? You know. And
Make it bigger.
what's a phone book? They'd have a phone book, and they get that pretty quick. Well, look,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people listed here. Yellow pages. Oh, so and then what do you do when you're driving
Uh-huh.
and you get a flat tire and nobody's going to change it, and maybe you don't have a spare. It
I love
almost
that,
it almost it
Bumholio.
almost frightens people to think, what would you do? Well, you'd actually flag down a passing motorist. What do you mean, flag them down? You
When I was a kid, the
wave
TV in
at
the
them.
room.
You put your hood up, and I got to tell you though. Speaking of which, had a kind of unceremonious arrival at New Jersey for Cheryl when we were living in Texas, and then the oil fell through. The jobs just disappeared, and that was right after Oklahoma because jobs disappeared there. So we had to come back here. It took 4 days driving at night and sleeping.
Where did you live in Texas?
San Antonio.
Oh, I've been there many times.
This was kind of nice.
I used to like it, and the last time I went was when my grandson was in boot camp there.
Well,
So Jay and I went,
and the river walk
and
is
it
quite
changed.
interesting.
Yeah, it's not as nice as it used to be.
No. But
The river walk was so
but
cool. I used to love when I had to work down there too.
but look, this is about New Jersey getting back. Finally got there after all this, and the car blew a rod. Or I don't know what they blew right on the turnpike, and we had to go to Tom's River, and it just like was spitting smoke everywhere. You couldn't see. I pulled over, and I thought, okay, you get out, you put the hood up. There's going to be state troopers coming by, and none came by. So it was going to be better, sure, hotter being in the car. In the summertime, we got her out in the chair. We had our dog in her lap. So now you got wheelchair, Cheryl, dog in the lap, hood open. Nobody stopped. Nobody, no cars stopped. I'm not going to wave down cars, but for over an hour. And then finally a state trooper came, and he was coming the opposite way,
Uh-huh.
and there was a turnaround like about 50 yards in front of us, and he came through that, and I figured, cool, he's going to back up, do that. And he just kept going. He just kept going.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, well, I wish it wasn't true. So it was another hour, and I thought, all right, 2 miles to an exit.
Mm-hmm.
We're going for it. What's it gonna do? Blow up? I mean, not explode anyway. So we rode off in a hail of smoke and said, "Welcome to New Jersey." Megan,
welcome to the podcast.
Hi,
Hey,
here we
You
go.
again. Hi guys, how are you?
Good thing.
welcome. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good. I'm gonna get a coffee. I'll be
You
right back.
too.
So tell us about what's going on with you. Megan, Lefty, Liz is in the center here on the top. She is our senior educator, and Johnny is almost board member.
Sue,
And Lefty and Jimmy you already know.
Sue, tell the viewers who's Megan and what she's doing.
Yeah. All right. Megan is a registered nurse and the founder of Enthea Care, and we teach people how to use cannabis and psychedelics as medicine. We are registered nurses. I have a master's degree in medical cannabis. We're involved in research, both in women's health, cannabis hyperemesis syndrome. We have a paper coming out like any day now. What else? I go around, I give talks globally, locally, all over the place. And we have a line of really amazing hemp products.
And I use some of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's new? What's changed in your world?
What's changed in our world? I think since the last time I was here, we were Trusted Canna Nurse. We have rebranded to Enthea Care. And for those who don't know, I can share the story of that real quick, that we just kind of outgrew the name Trusted Canna Nurse. And, it's hard to have a brand Canna in your brand names. And The word enthea comes from the word entheogen, which is a medicine that induces an altered state of consciousness. Cannabis is one of those. Mushrooms, other psychedelics are included in that. And then enthea is just a little bit more feminine version of that. So it's kind of like all encompassing in what we do is we help people heal with psychoactive plant medicines and CBD, of course.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so how has all the projected changes in the cannabis industry, how do you guys feel about it? How does that affect your business?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a couple of things in line, right? So back in, I believe it was November when the government was shut down, included in that bill to reopen the government was a redefinition of hemp that essentially shuts down the entire hemp industry with those definitions. So that law doesn't go into effect for, I think we have until November.
Year,
So
right?
we're working, yeah, probably down to 9 months now. So we're working to change that to redefine hemp at something that makes sense, right? To protect full spectrum CBD, the original definition of it. Like we want to get the HHC, the Delta 8, that crap, the synthetic crap off the shelves. But we need to protect full spectrum CBD for our patients. So yeah, if nothing changes, then our doors could definitely be closed in a year, or we just go completely underground, or who knows. And then at the federal level, cannabis moving to Schedule 3, that doesn't really apply to us at all because we are in the hemp space. It would definitely open up, opportunities for education. I've already had some professional opportunities to teach nurses and nurse practitioners about cannabis because they're being more willing to do it. So we're seeing it more on that sort of level, the cultural shift in it in the medical world. But there's a lot of work to be done still.
Yeah, a lot, right?
Yeah, so much.
I've taken note with some of our own nursing associations and whatnot. They've kind of taken they backpedaled. I'm seeing a lot of backpedaling going on. Now, I let you know who I am, and I like to stay behind the scenes, and that's where I'm most comfortable. But but it's tossing everything to kind of to the wayside, scaring people, making people look over their shoulder and whatnot. So how's that affecting your business right now?
Can you be a little more specific on what you're referring to? I'm not sure that I'm
just with your products.
Yeah.
With, supply and demand.
Yeah. And with the hemp
demand
bill?
and supply.
With the hemp ban or something else?
No, with the hemp ban.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's we are just continuing business as usual. In fact, we're scaling up. We just moved our fulfillment operations to an official fulfillment center and outsource that in Las Vegas. But yeah, and we're just operating as if it's going to be changed because we have faith that it's going to be changed in a way that makes sense for our whole plant, full spectrum products. So,
I have the same kind of faith though, that you're describing, because there's, this affects too many people. There's too many people in the industry that have invested a lot of time and money and patience with this. So, I hear you, and we're all here, of course, to support that initiative. What do you see with the proposed federal legalization to Schedule 3? What are you hearing in your background noise over there?
Yeah, I mean, not a lot. First of all, what happened in November was just an executive order. Biden did the same thing. He just ordered it to actually be done, but it's not up to the president. Of course, goes through the DEA and the FDA and HHS and all of that. And there's been no movement since then. I know that there are various groups who have proposed language that protects plant medicine, because if it goes Schedule 3, there is fear that we'll lose, that state dispensaries or state programs will close. And I think that's probably everybody's worst fear is like, okay, if it
Yeah.
goes Schedule 3, I'm going to lose access to my plant medicine. So I know that there are groups working at the federal level to make sure that protections are in place for state regulated programs, which is what we need. We need to maintain access to whole plant medicine. And Schedule 3 is not it. Because it's like the FDA and the FDA pathway for prescription medications, which cannabis would have to be if it's Schedule 3, because Schedule 3 medications are only available by prescription, and it means it has to be FDA approved and go through that pathway, and that pathway does not favor plant medicine. There are only three plant medicines that have gone through that FDA approval process compared to thousands of pharmaceuticals, because it's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. Plant medicine doesn't fit into that framework. So the framework needs to be redone. And I know that there are groups working on that as well.
Fascinating.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about when you do your education. I know you're educating a lot of your crowd is more medically based. Yes? No?
It depends. Sometimes I'll get, people like a group of seniors who don't know anything. I just sat down and did a podcast with a cardiac surgeon who doesn't know anything about cannabis, and got to teach him a lot about it. So some of it's medical, some of it's, just regular people.
And what you've been going to facilities to educate?
Yeah, I used to do it a lot more. I don't do it a whole lot now, but I used to do it a lot more.
Yeah, they might find a country to deport you to.
Right.
Okay. What about the economical side of this? All these changes and all this fear that has been reinstituted. Has it affected you economically? Not you personally, but the business.
Yeah, I mean, like as a business, we're still growing, we're still generating revenue. I think it's slower than we were before because the market has changed. And I think that commerce across all industries has changed in the last year, and spending patterns are different because the country is much different than it was a year and a half ago. So there's there's that piece of it. Then there's this underlying anxiety and fear. I feel like it was much worse last year than it was this year. People are more comfortable spending money this year than they were a year ago. But it's still a very weird place to be. And then, if it goes Schedule 3, of course, the economics of it is that hopefully that means that cannabis companies can then deduct their expenses, which, they can't do now. So hopefully that looks like the only beneficial economic impact, if it even applies to dispensaries or to cannabis brands, which we're not even sure if it will.
Before you came on, we were talking a little bit here and there about cannabis hyperemesis, and I said, if I hear about this one more time, I'm gonna throw up myself. What are you seeing with that? Are you seeing anything? Are you hearing anything? I mean, I could share for 2 hours on this, but you're the guest.
Yeah. And it's making its way through mainstream media, and it's being weaponized against cannabis. And I hate to see that, because it's not, yes, it is a possibility, but it's not every cannabis user. There's just a paper that just came out in the last month showing one, This is one number of incidents, meaning like the number of people or the percentage of cannabis users who get it. And this is the first time we've actually had a number like this because we haven't had this before. And that number is about 2.7% of cannabis users, or daily cannabis users, I can't remember, have symptoms of CHS. And that's not a small number. Like, that's still millions of people who have symptoms of CHS. And I research CHS, I see CHS patients, I'm like evaluating people all of the time for CHS. And it's something that I wish we could find a middle ground that, like, yes, it's real, yes, it's possible, there are risk factors. So let's look at those risk factors, which is the constant chronic use of high THC. And of course, like, as I say, like, THC is a powerful molecule, but to think that it's not powerful enough to cause adverse effects in some degree is pretty ignorant. So it is powerful. So let's educate consumers, let's educate doctors so they can actually have these conversations with their patients to use cannabis in a way that does not increase that risk of CHS. And with products and policies that, a 90% distillate, like, I don't think that our ECS was meant to be slammed with 90% distillate 6 times a day.
And the thing is, did they compare this with alcohol hyperemesis? Is that a thing?
And alcoholism is absolutely a thing. And I know that, like, the founder of High Times came on and said, like, I vomit from alcohol, but this is very, very different.
It really isn't, because one, it's not something that is 2% is a big number, but it is and it isn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what what criteria can make that diagnosis? I couldn't get the words.
CUD.
Oh my God.
CUD, cannabis use disorder, right?
Well,
I mean, there is criteria, and they are using it, and they will use it, and that breaks my heart.
Yeah, the criteria for cannabis version of it being 2.7, I would wonder what the relativity would be for alcohol. However, you could actually compare the standards, which would be somewhat different for both of them. But as to throwing up after drinking, I don't think I ever had an issue with that until I got to a really exorbitant amount of I wasn't the kind of person that drank often. But when I'd go out, and it might have been because I was actually kind of shy, it helped me overcome my shyness. That's
Not
for
you.
sure.
Not you.
Wow.
Yeah. But it would
that's a news bulletin.
It would be more like, okay, maybe if I had something to eat afterwards, I'd be sick then, but it wouldn't be, it's a cause and effect. I mean, there's a lot of ways to,
and people go back and do the exact same thing the following week.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of people I obviously do with alcohol, and a lot, when it gets to an addictive level, I'm not even talking about that. But it's pretty easy to overconsume alcohol compared to cannabis, like you say, until you get to the 90%. I mean, you can get slammed now with things, and somebody can really like the way gummies taste and not really give a thought to having more.
Yeah. And to be clear, like, two things can be true at once, right? Like, alcohol can and is, like, very bad for us, but long-term use of heavy THC can also be bad for us in a completely different way. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about. That's what CHS is. It's like, it's the long-term use of it. It's not like, okay, you overdid it one time and then ended up throwing up. It's that you use, you smoked multiple times a day for years, and now you wake up with nausea and stomach pain, and then that developed into a hypermetic episode that landed you in the hospital.
Yeah,
Or you tried quitting weed, and then you have these severe withdrawal symptoms that also mimic the symptoms of CHS.
The standard I think they were that I was reading about referred to smoked 5 times a week or more. So I mean, as far as, and I thought that was a fair point to begin at myself. I have no problem with that, but this is new to me. I mean, I've been a cannabis consumer for a long time.
Ever.
Yeah, and but even along the way, at times when it became financially not wise for me to spend any money on it, because I was taking care of a wife who had a fair amount of taking care of needed. So, I mean, there were certainly times when, but it was never, my experience, and I feel fortunate, but I certainly don't take that as a sign that there's nothing to it. So I do need to be a little more educated on this, because I never heard of this till this year, about a year ago.
Well, recently, right.
Yeah. And I thought.
Yeah. And I think especially because, Jim and I are the same age, and, the generation that we come from, that's not we don't know that. We don't know that, it wasn't happening. Right.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. I
don't know. I know that sometimes I knew back then people that would, if it was really, really good, like Hawaiian, when that happened, that somebody would be smoking it and enjoying it and then get sick. And it was almost like it was almost, and then I knew a guy that every time he would like snort cocaine, he'd get sick, and then he'd say the same thing about pot. It's like if he got high real fast, it was just somehow disconcerting to whatever part of the system would make him get sick, but he just expected it. That was like
what I remember about that is like, what you just described, Jim, is that that was the code to know that this is really good shit. If you puked, it was good.
Let me get 2.
Can I have some more?
Yeah.
To go, please.
Yeah. And also I think it's really important to point out that the cannabis that you guys grew up on is very different than what's commercially available.
We know.
Like this is
No, we know.
Yeah, like this is the NIDA weed that the patients in the government program got, and it says 1.9% THC in these little cigarettes. And you guys grew up on something very different. You weren't sucking on a vape pen multiple times a day. Like it took work, right? To both attain your cannabis, to roll the joint, to do whatever you're doing. It took work, and
we did half under glass. That was
And what percentage were you smoking? You didn't even know. I'm sure a lot of it.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
That's a big thing for me. With us seniors. I came back into this world, and I smoked out of a soda can pipe. And all of a sudden I'm into, and I say it's like the Twilight Zone, because you're hearing all these different terms: hybrid, sativa, batter, butter, resin, rosin. Like, what the fuck?
And my telephone talks to my bong.
Yeah, like how do you come from from smoking out of a soda can to having your bong and your phone have a conversation?
Look,
it's confusing, it's overwhelming. There's so much, which is why I started what I started, because
There was no sativa indica in my first 30 years.
Yeah,
I-
you
I-
never
Yes, there
heard
You
was.
that.
got what you got, right?
Yes,
it-
there
it-
was, Jim.
Yeah, I
You
know
weren't paying attention.
I never heard the words. What I had was, oh man, this is this week.
Good shit.
This makes you really tired. Oh, this makes you laugh a lot. Oh, this makes you think about things. It's like, okay, I know what they are now, looking backwards at it. But at the time, I was like, oh, you're full of shit. You know, come on.
Well, yeah, because we were just having
Yeah,
fun.
but
Yeah.
it's just, you give it a name and but
And it was a process. It was a
but
huge
all-
process.
also it was a time when there was not a lot there was something that really wasn't hybrid. I mean, it was like, whoa,
Right.
original strains actually available, stuff that tasted like and smelled like juicy fruit gum. I mean, not a little bit like, I think I know what you mean. No, it's like, the aftertaste. It tastes juicy fruit gum.
We never talked about that growing up. Terpenes were not even heard.
Terpenes I hadn't heard
Now
of.
you got spray packs.
I never heard of any of it. Any of it.
Yeah.
Dry
You know,
mouth.
we used to make a
grew our
cloth.
plants between the tomato plants, and
Yeah, the
Yeah,
problem.
we grew
they
weed
were-
in
yeah.
a makeshift
Yeah.
doghouse. It was terrible. It was the worst
Tomato-
thing ever.
Oh yeah, tomato plants. They die first. All of a sudden, you got these brown tomato plants, and this vibrant green can't hide there anymore.
That's how Scutari grew his weed.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I think there needs to be someone like Geraldo Rivera, remember him, to go and talk to the college roommates and the fraternity brothers and sorority sisters of all these people that are making our decisions.
Yeah.
And how many of them were getting high in college?
I tried to.
Inhale.
I tried to corral Geraldo Rivera on this one time because in Red Bank they have a thing goes on each year. A whole lot of people gather and this was an outdoor gathering, thousands of people there, and this was had an Elvis impersonator contest thing going on. So Geraldo Rivera was one of the judges. And I said to Cheryl, hey, listen, let's try to track down Geraldo. Cheryl would have been my late wife, and she had MS. And, this was working good for her. But she was like not moving. I mean, she was like leaned back in a wheelchair. So basically, it's easy to stand out in a crowd. And this kind of lends itself to, I always found a way, usually with politicians, to be invited. Hey, would you like a picture? Because it'd be Cheryl in a wheelchair, and that looks good for them. And then it doesn't work out good for them in the end, but it looks good in the beginning. And it was real hard to get to where he was because of that. But Cheryl really, she liked Elvis. She loved the impersonators. We're too far away. And I found that with people sitting or standing, it's really slow motion, but you kind of accidentally bump somebody with the feet on the wheel, and they look at you, and they try to give you a little room, and it's seriously a snail's pace. But I managed to get us right up in front of the stage. It took about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of constantly doing this, and it worked pretty good. And a little sidebar only for a second, you might appreciate it. But they had a yellow taped off thing for all the Elvis impersonators and a little tent top there. All the Elvis impersonators, to go there. So we went there, and I lifted up the tape and pushed the wheelchair under. Everybody kind of got quiet because we're looking around like, hey, this is great. Look at all the Elvis impersonators walking amongst them. And somebody waited for the first person to go, I don't know how to tell you this, but this is for Elvis impersonators only. And I went, oh, come on. I know she's not the best Elvis impersonator here, but we got to give her a hand for trying. And everybody slowly clapped until
That's a good story.
Oh, man. Anyway, I just thought I'd give a sidebar because, Well, you know how I am. Okay.
You got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Well,
Man.
I spent decades doing that in spades, but sometimes it was just kind of fun, you know.
Yeah, we patients have dark humor at this point.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I feel, you know, I learn something every podcast when we have one of Sue's high quality guests, and this is not just no exception. This is really giving me like more of a direction. I know where I need to be more well informed, because I have to be able to talk about this to somebody, and you know, I need to, you know, along the same lines I maintain it's not hard for anybody. I tell people it's never hard to be the smartest person in the room talking about the endocannabinoid system. It just isn't hard. I mean, you can take the basic 10 bullet points and you will be the smartest person in any room, and that includes a lot of times when you're waiting in your doctor's office, you know. So basically,
Yeah.
between you and being with a doctor, you got a good chance of being the smartest person in that room too. You know, and that I say that only because it's easy to drop that on people, where all of a sudden they then seem to respect that you might be really well informed about stuff, but it's more that it's that easy to be informed, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
And
and
then they ask Jim if he has any gummies, and then he has his copay.
yeah, but it's but this is also like that because
I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
this is at some point somebody using this information to suggest that maybe we should take a really about face on cannabis right now. I mean, we want to go back where we were, and no, we don't. So maybe we don't want to be right where we are, but we certainly don't want to go back there. And if I'm into having that conversation, what we're talking about will come up, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we've seen is like we've seen the pendulum swing from prohibition to this hyper fixation on THC potency and THC content. And I don't think that's where cannabis ever meant to go, but like that's where we are because of capitalism and everything that has come along with it, right? And now we are seeing issues related to that hyperfixation on all of the THC that we're consuming, and the normalization of everyday, multiple times a day use, you know. And what we need to do is like bring it back to the middle and say, okay, we have this beautiful medicine that we can use to help balance our endocannabinoid system, but we also have these other tools that we can use also. So how can we tap in to other things to help balance our ECS and not just use this single tool? Because you can't build a house with just a screwdriver, right? We're not going to heal our trauma, heal all of our illnesses and our pain and anxiety with just a single tool. We have to tap into other tools and learn how to use those so we can build, you know, the mansion, the house that is our body, you know, the temple. We need more than one tool to do that.
No, well put.
Yeah, and so that's when we fall into, you know, we're into the holistic medicine, you know, whatever is old is new now, you know.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
I'm using
It's
a
a pretty cool thing, you know. You know, I got these magnesium bath bombs, right? So what I did was I bought them for a friend, and this is someone that you know, Megan. And I sent it as a Christmas gift, and I said,
Aww.
check these out. And she told me she had the most relaxing bath ever, you know. And we've all tried the other bath bombs, and I was like, okay, cool. And then she told me her daughter, she also gave her daughter some bath bombs, and she was like, Mom, what a great bath I had. I didn't want to get out of the tub. So I just got mine in the mail because, of course, I had to test everybody else first.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, like that is an example, right?
That is an example. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that for me, coming from the Western medicine world, you know, where all of that we were taught was kind of bullshit, right? Like there wasn't evidence to back it. If it's not a pharmaceutical, it's not legitimate medicine. That's what I learned as a nurse and in nursing school. But cannabis like opened that door to holistic practices for me and allowed me to like tap into like to my intuition, to drown the outside noise on what I should be feeling and really focus on what am I feeling, what do I need, what can help me. And so like I use our own products, our CBD, our CBG, sometimes our THC products, but I'll also use like other supplements. Like I supplement with minerals and zinc and vitamin D and like acetyl L-carnitine. Like I do all of these things and I make sure I'm exercising and meditating and getting outside and doing all of these things so that I am the best version of myself. And I think that I love seeing that more and more people are starting to do that we're looking more at it more from a wellness point of view instead of like a sickness point of view.
Yeah. And right now we're still caught in that sickness vortex, but I don't know, hopefully it'll change. How do you feel about, okay, so you're in California, so where you have Ryan's Law, and it's working okay, right? For the most part.
Ryan's Law is sort of working. The issue with Ryan's Law is that it the way that it's
up
written
to the
now,
facility.
Well, I don't think it's not supposed to be up to the facility, but it's still like facilities are still not following it. But it prohibits the nurse from administering the medicine. So in dementia patients or those who can't self-administer, then it doesn't allow them access to their medicine, right? And so we had hemp. They were like, okay, well, they can't have dispensary products, but they could have full spectrum CBD, maybe a low dose THC gummy. They had that, but then California took hemp away. So now technically there's no legal access for patients in facilities who cannot self-administer. And that's a big issue with Ryan's Law, that yes, it's there, but it's got some major holes in it that need to be patched up.
We can't admit it. Cuts us out. Last year or the year before, I had taken one of those courses on psychedelics, and just because I wanted to see where are we as nurses in this developing everything that's old is new again world.
Yeah. Yes.
And there were only 2 of us that were nurses in the class. The rest were all social workers. And I was like, well, that's fucked up, because then we end up taking care of these people, and you're not allowing us to have a say, a part in it. I've gone to a couple of the ketamine clinics and just checked out what they have. Yeah, they're all pretty and they're nice and what have you. And I'm not a big fan of the ketamine club, but whatever.
Yeah.
But there too, there's no nurse. You've got a psychiatrist that's walking around, and whoever he has working with him. And we know that, I'm married to a surgeon. They don't hire nurses. Okay?
Yeah.
We're too expensive. And so who do you have, that is watching over anybody that's going to take somebody, it's like everybody's got to be taken through their trip. Well, like for us, me and Jim and probably Lefty and Liz Crowd, I don't know. We did it for the fun, we did it for the fuck of it.
Right.
It was just a fun thing to do. And if somebody had a bad trip, okay, well, you'll get over it, go chew on some black peppercorns or something. So there is a development going on that I've worked on also, and it is filling the role of the nurse where cannabis is concerned. But until it's not federally illegal, we're not going to be able to push any of that. And that's where the standoff is. It's just not moving. It's not ever going to move. I just feel like, I'd like to see it move somewhere before I die. And Jim says the same thing before we die, that could happen anytime. But, the development of these roles, need to be instituted, but we don't have any backup about it. There's no backup out there. There's backup in the industry because the industry would like to stay solvent, but then that's a lot of competition also. Because the more we keep putting ourselves out there, the more they push us back.
Right.
I don't know. What are you finding with that?
I mean, nurses, like, we play such an important role in plant medicine because there's so much nuance to it from the patient side in terms of like navigating their medication interactions and looking at them as a whole person, their whole ECS and what they're trying to achieve. And, you know, bud tenders aren't equipped to handle that sort of nuance and specialty in human physiology like nurses are. And from the hospital standpoint, like, you know, there is a nurse in Minnesota who's a cannabis nurse, but she also works in the ER. And so she's able to have cannabis conversations with her patients who come in for cannabis related things, and she's able to guide them appropriately. And, you know, we play such an important role. And with psychedelics too, when patients are coming to us for microdosing psilocybin, they're often coming to us because they want to come off of some sort of medication. Most of the time it's an antidepressant. And their doctors have given them the weaning schedule, but they fail because the withdrawal symptoms are so bad. But as nurses, we can help them learn how to microdose in a way that diminishes. And for some people, they have no withdrawal symptoms off their antidepressants. And like, that's not care that they're getting from their medical professional and their doctor. It is the nurse, it's one of us who is giving that specialized guidance. So it's such an important role that we play in this game. And one day it will become a mainstream thing, but until then we're navigating the gray area, and we're just doing it. And people are coming because they want help.
Yeah. Yep.
This has been great. Lots of great information. Thank you.
Lots of stuff. Yeah.
So where do you see yourself going if the hemp ban does come to fruition? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I've thought about that. I have, like, there's just part of me that's like, there's no way. There's no
makes me nauseous to think about, but yeah.
Yeah, because, like, you know, I don't know if you guys know who Paige Figge is, the mother of Charlotte Figge from Charlotte's Web. So she was standing behind Trump when he signed the bill to the executive order to, to reschedule cannabis. And in there was something about full spectrum CBD, a provision to allow Medicare to cover it or something like that. So, you know, my faith is in Paige that, like, she got the farm bill through, and she got full spectrum CBD through and legalized that back in 2018. And she is a fierce advocate and not working in DC. I'm pretty sure it's all volunteer, working hard to make sure that we maintain access. Like 50 million Americans use CBD on a regular basis. That's like one
we know
of the population. Like, how are they going to destroy an entire industry? I'm just, I guess, in complete denial that it's actually going to happen. And so I'm just holding out. And if it does go through, then I guess, like, we go underground, because there's still a market for this medicine.
Well, the black market is alive and well. We know that.
And
it will remain alive and well. And that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, we may have to go back underground again.
Right. And I think that's where a lot of times the best medicine is. Like, if you're looking for RSO for cancer, like, you're probably not going to find the good stuff at a dispensary. You know, it's going to be the local grower, you know, somebody who's been helping cancer patients for a decade, or, you know, this specific flower or something. And of course, there's a lot of crap out there. Get the synthetics off the shelves. Like, get that crap off. Like, we want the real medicine, but a lot of times, like, the real stuff is underground.
A lot of times I'd say it's the rule more than the exception, you know, and I'm finding that out, as everybody here knows, with able to help a brother with cancer, because I do know exactly where, not just to get it. I mean, you know, I wish everybody could have the same situation. Right. And in this case, it's being done where it's of no charge. So, that really instills confidence because it's certainly not a money-making venture. And yeah, it comes with specifics. He has his morning and his evening blend,
Mm-hmm.
and it's strain specific if necessary for somebody. That means the world. What a working system that would be if that
Right.
could ever be a reality for people.
Mhm.
I mean, Jesus, we're talking about cancer,
Right.
and a long time back with the Coalition for Medical Marijuana, that long ago, when it would be the 501c3 named that, but at the Freehold Raceway, half-mile racetrack, and it was all about cancer, and so there was a lot of tabling going on. The coalition had a table there, which I found really cool,
Mm-hmm.
because then I could talk to people about it like that. And I'm surprised with as far as it's come since then. That do you have any thoughts on why maybe the American Cancer Society they're not fully invested even. I mean, they're monitoring, the same with the National MS Society. They're monitoring what's going on to where they are the largest research organizations in the world on the particular, or they fund it, whether they do the research themselves,
Right.
And as it, yeah, the MS Society has said to me, because I've inquired, that they don't do fund it, because it's Schedule 1.
Yeah.
So that's the problem, though, because it is a Schedule 1. A lot of the federal, well, not a lot of it, the federal funding isn't going to make its way there on the up and up.
Right.
Yeah,
And when we do see research in that realm, we're gonna see that's the thing, is that we know RSO is so powerful against cancer. But what makes it powerful, right? Is it the THC? Is it the terpenes? Is it the myocannabinoids? Or is it like the entire package that makes it powerful, right? Because you could load somebody up with like a bottle full of Marinol, the synthetic, FDA approved pharmaceutical THC. Are we going to see the same outcomes as we do in somebody who takes RSO? Absolutely not, right? So it is like the magic is that entire thing. But it's that FDA model of like, well, we can't prove which molecule had that effect, right? And RSO has hundreds of different molecules. So it's not like to put the money into the research, it's got to be something that somebody's going to invest in, and nobody's invested millions unless they can patent something. Right. And patenting cannabis is very, very challenging. And patented, could you imagine like a patented RSO? Like,
how cool would that be, right?
Right. But like when pigs fly, there's another nurse who, it'd be super cool. There's another nurse working on like putting patents through, but then leaving them open so that like it's patented but also open. So that's Jana's the one who's working on doing that.
That you would kind of cross over the subject of, there's so much more that could be done with RSO to have it be really targeted. And it could happen. I mean, it's not like we as a human race don't have what it takes to do that. But the kind of human race we seem to be, we prevent ourselves from doing that with some sort of a circular problem. That to me, especially with, growing up with cancer, it's the big thing, growing up with around a whole lot of secondhand smoke to all of a sudden, quite a journey. But with all that, to be not having somewhere that could focus on exactly this, independent of all the rest of the bullshit, And again, that's probably a when pigs fly moment too. But that's what makes it so sad is it's quite possible.
Right.
But it's a fight worth having, and I'm sure it'll outlast me. But I am the guy that when would you like to give to the American Cancer Society outside a food store when I can barely afford enough food and I'm mad with Cheryl, all that back in the day. And I'll stop and talk to him and I say, well, I would love to, but did you know? And then I talk about childhood cancer and cannabis and all that. And I say, see, I can see that you don't know about that. And it's not your fault. It's the American Cancer Society's fault that you're out here not knowing that. So I'd love to help, but I just can't. And, it's not that much different though. It is, but it isn't because of what I know can be. And again, sometimes I don't like what I learn on really good guest nights, But
you want to learn something else that's really messed up? I just read this.
Why not? Right?
Why not? Right? So I just read this study yesterday, and there's this thing called the reverse spin bias. So do you ever I don't know if you ever see headlines that say oh, medical cannabis doesn't actually help with pain, or it doesn't help with this thing, and it was this big review was done, and it's how is it that it's helping so many people but the research doesn't match up? I don't understand. And it's because the way that the authors write it, it's called a reverse spin bias, and they use these tactics that they omit the study findings. They kind of
They pick and choose.
Kind of pick and choose, and then they
Donald Trump.
In a way. And then despite the study findings showing benefit, the authors still don't recommend it or recommend against it in these reviews. And that's why we see the research doesn't always match up with what we're seeing in the real world, because we are being gaslit and lied to by these authors of these big reviews. And that's that to me was oh my God, that makes so much sense. Because we see this in the real world, it's helping so many people. How is it that the research isn't matching up with that? It's because they're in a way manipulating us to think that it's not, that the study's findings aren't valid.
Wow. When I married my wife Cheryl, she had multiple sclerosis, and it wasn't severe as it was going to get, but she was in a wheelchair. And, I did smoke and she didn't. And to me, that worked out great. It was cheaper. I didn't have to share at the end. I didn't have to give up had I known it was medicine, I had probably not smoked at all, But that was 1984 and things went down here real bad, real quick. Well, not about quick, but by about 1990, I was in full, what else can you do mode, because you always need something else, and we're running out of things. And then I read doing microfilm research in the library that the Journal American Medical Association in 1978, I could be 79, I should know, published something that marijuana may lessen MS spasticity, I believe it was the title. And I'm seeing this in a microphone thing as a title going, whoa, and this is looking everywhere for something. It is dark ages then, And so I looked to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, wow, dealing with them in the first year, they accidentally sent me an internal memo that was to be sent to all the MS Society chapters in the country. And the title is How to Handle Questions About Marijuana. Relative to MS, how to handle the questions.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was how to bat it back,
Oh.
how to cover it up, how to keep it down low, you know. And
Yeah,
Mhm.
not how to answer.
yeah, that was a Wizard of Oz moment for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. Curtain was open, and I couldn't believe it, which led to a wonderful picture. And that'll be done with that. This will is pretty relevant, I guess. Cheryl's first trip to New York was for Cures Not Wars march down Fifth Avenue. They always did.
Mhm.
This was for ibogaine and medical marijuana. You know,
Okay.
I mean that was like the big deal. And there's 5,000 people doing that, and Cheryl's the only one in a wheelchair. First trip there, we made it up to where they were gathered, and they were all had police horses, the wooden horses, the barricades they're called.
Mhm.
You know, the horses they're called. And there's our crowd. Oh, fine. By the time I got parked and we were walking right up, somebody moved one. I thought that was they can tell we're with them. No, they were starting to walk. They're starting to walk, and I'm hearing wheelchair up front. Oh, okay, there's a fine
Wow.
hat. Fine hat. How do you do? But the sign attached to the chair was the MS Society's Dr. Reingold lies about medical marijuana. And it was fixed to the top of her chair, so when I was behind it, there's a spot for a headrest. So without that, I fashioned what would go up above her head, a decent sized sign, so I could push and kind of look under and see what was and stuff. And their office at 733 3rd Avenue, their national office was there. So afterwards, we went up there with Elvie Musica, one of the legal cannabis smokers, where she was smoking, walking down the street in front of the office, and went inside. And Dr. Reingold was there, and he refused to come down to the lobby. He refused to come down to the lobby. This guy I've been fighting with at this point. At this point, this is 97, so for years. I mean, I'd pick at the mid chapter, the Mid Jersey chapter, and they'd say, "Oh, you're gonna not get funded." Yeah, it's all that has me sort of drained as far as what could be studied and would be and will be, because it's kind of systemic if it's going to be that way with the Cancer Society too and everything. And you know why. I mean, so
absolutely.
Cancer makes money. You know, I have a friend with cancer, and she has a whole box full of RSO, and she used it topically. And I can't go into much detail because I don't have her permission to even tell this story, but with results, you know, and that's something that, come on, you know, this is one person I'm talking about. So like, how many other people have utilized this or know about it even, or even know what RSO is, you know, and that's the walls that we go up against, because
I'm one of those people.
Because we can't say, I can say to you, RSO, you know what I'm talking about, you know, any of you. But you can't say that to just like, you know, Joe Blow on the street, because cancer to them is chemo and radiation.
Right.
You know, which is, we know how caustic that is. You know, we see it all the time. The other part of that, though, is within the, and did you work oncology? Do I remember that?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. So did you have oncology nurse navigators?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we did.
So a long time ago, that was developed in Harlem Hospital in New York City. I can't remember the name of the doc that did it, but I had because I worked trauma and burns. So what I did was I pulled their scope of practice and their job description, and I fit it into what I was doing as a trauma nurse, because there was no title for what I was doing, and I was working with surgeons. Yeah. Where was I going with this? I just lost where I was going with this. But you know, if you think about that, okay, so that's fine. So the stuff is already there. So why can't we have that kind of educator? What would be the harm in that? Other than, yes, we know the legalities that are involved, but this is our baby. This is what we know. So it would be so much easier to have someone, a nurse, be able to follow a patient. Say a patient presented in the ER with maybe okay, we'll use cannabis hyperemesis for example. And if we had someone in that kind of position that could come and really, connect all the dots and find out, well, is this real or is this
right.
Whatever. That I think that would be like, a golden thing to have, such an advantage for patients, because patients really, really don't know. They really don't know.
Yeah.
I have a sister. I have a sister-in-law, who she's suffering. She's really suffering. And has she used cannabis in her suffering? Yeah, she has, but not the right kind, not the right way. And nobody likes to listen to me and my family. So, I just take a step back. But like, seriously, like, why is that? This is a person that is educated. Okay. She does know, but she doesn't know what she doesn't know, and that leads to all the other, RSOs, MSOs, whatever, that are out there that, she would not have access to because she just doesn't know. She just knows what what's out there. I'm trying to circle around what I'm saying without identifying anybody, but it's not working. But you hear me, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. And it's a shame. But we have to keep on fighting, I guess.
Yes.
Keep on pushing.
And I'm still learning. I don't know much about RSO. I don't know much at all.
If there's anything you need to know, it's not for beginners.
Is what?
It's not.
Not for beginners.
No.
Oh,
the most important.
Yeah.
No, I'm a triple F, the senior super stoner. So I'm totally not a beginner.
Good.
And I have no gallbladder, and that affects how edibles work on me.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to affect me.
Yeah.
Like California, a lot. Like I got gummies from California. They were 150 milligrams.
I didn't know that. You don't have a gallbladder, and that'll affect edible.
Your digestive juices. Yeah.
Yeah, because of that, it doesn't break it down.
Do I have my gallbladder?
And
You have a gallbladder.
No,
Jim.
I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. I wanted to make sure. I was pretty sure, but it didn't.
Why did you have a gallbladder removed?
It was infected. It was infected and large and just short of bursting open.
Ah.
But
Okay.
yeah, it was arthroscopic, and that was the best part. And the pain that preceded it was unbelievable. It really felt like an impending explosion, And of all things, it became emergency in nature real quick. But it was also Halloween time, and I was
My birthday.
but I was so confused because the part right outside what would have been like the operating room, they had like Halloween stuff, and Halloween isn't a cheerful holiday.
That's my birthday.
Yeah, but okay, well, I don't want to see witches on brooms, little things and like that. I'm confused. I'd never had I had not an operation like that. I hadn't been in a hospital at that point in like decades. And then when I'm finally they're getting me all calmed down and ready, and they got this little mobile with a witch on a broom. It's a fun little thing. It's a holiday. There's pumpkins and stuff too, But that's not what was above my bed. I had a witch flying above me. I was about to do this, and I was scared. I was scared.
Sure.
I have to get
Uh-huh.
going. I'm so sorry, guys. I have another meeting that I have to jump to.
Oh wow! Can't
Listen, thank
can't
you
thank
so
you
much.
enough.
We appreciate
Meg.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
thank you for having me
awesome.
on. It's great to see you guys again.
Thank
It's
you
really
so
good.
much.
Good to see you, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Take
Okay.
care. Bye bye.
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 You
Thank
too. Bye bye.
I keep disappearing off camera. My back is like really bad, so I'm stretching out. I'm doing whatever I got to do here. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a lot of weird stuff here, but I got
You
a
want to
10
go
unit.
yoga with me one day?
I'm doing yoga here. I got a 10 unit on my neck, on my lower back. I got a blunt going.
Do you want to go to yoga with me one day? To real yoga?
To go to yoga? I don't know. Where we got to go?
Yogurt.
You were on Kinderkamak in Oradell, right?
Oh,
Remember
okay,
when
yeah.
didn't you take your father-in-law to a church on Kinderkamak?
I go to the hashery to get weed sometimes. So
Okay.
yeah, I like that place. I'm up there all the time. But you're gonna do that crazy yoga, that what is it, the rage yoga? What's that called?
What's it called?
Hot yoga.
What's it called when they do that?
Hot yoga.
Like
Hot yoga's
heavy metal yoga. Or
growing bacteria yoga.
I do shower yoga. I do the downward dog in the shower and have the hot water on my back.
Order those magnesium bath bombs you can order them on Amazon.
What? What is that?
Yes. You know what? In fact, shoot me your address and I'll get them for you and send them to you.
Bath bomb. I never had a bath bomb in my life.
Huh?
I never had a bath bomb in my life. I know people used
Okay.
to
You're going to love it.
themselves, but no.
You'll feel good.
I won't smoke them.
Okay. So this podcast.
This concludes our podcast. Johnny, you try it. You got a good voice. You try it.
This concludes our podcast.
That's very good. That was stellar. That was
Yeah, man.
almost
That was perfect.
Yeah, you made the cut, Lefty. You're out of here.
I'm sorry. I can't compete with that.
Hey, maybe Johnny rings a better bell than you too. You know.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Yeah.
thing.
I got a bell.
That was the original sound effects for the original versions of the State House podcast. 11 years ago. That was like, because no came up a lot. No.
Oh.
Hey, you got a bell.
That's a bell.
I have pictures, from those podcasts, those State House podcasts that I took when I was doing my photography thing.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
So thank you, Mad Hatter. We'll be back in business soon. We got the UFCW involved, so hopefully we'll be back in business very soon.
Should have called Hugh and had him on.
Ooh, good guess. See if it. Yeah.
Who?
Hugh Giordano, UFCW, or Jake, or Mike. All those guys, they're great.
Oh, you ought to have them all on. They'd do it.
CMMNJ, that was a good board meeting the other day.
That was interesting. Yeah, they're doing taking part in an omnibus poll, meaning there'll be like 30 questions in a poll. We got 3. So, it's not your directed on one thing poll, but I got to write the wording for the medical home grow question of, do you support it? But it's, it's I set it up really good, and in a way that basically the question, it'd be so interesting to find out what people would say as far as the allowing patients for plant medical grow, and they'll do the survey in March. And it doesn't take that long, I understand, to actually get the results all correlated and whatever. So, it could be as early as mid-end of March to have, a survey says,
Let me get a half a plant.
A poll says, well,
You know what? You just said something that, Jim, think about that. I think that We should do let's do a survey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, okay.
You could do it
survey.
on Google Forms.
Yeah, well, this would be more of a poll than a survey.
Okay, so poll survey, you know.
Yeah, but then it gets into like an independent, how is the poll? And I maintain, right along the lines you're talking about, is that what I was saying to the coalition is, listen, it's not about the quality of a poll. It's about you have one. You have something. And I forget, it was somebody, won't say who, said, but everybody knows that. And I go, yeah, prove it. You can't, can you? I got a poll, So a poll beats nothing at all, And right, so we really should. And
let's do it.
And this well, I could
Just do it, Jim.
I have the I'll put out it to the group or the pizza thing on Facebook or whatever, the wording of what'll be in that poll. And so you got a quick set of stage for it. It's not like you have a certain amount of wordage and
wordage. You just made that word up. Wordage.
Verbiage is a more advanced word. I dumbed it down,
Okay. So that we would understand.
I heard that inference when I said I dumbed it down, and I was like, I was about to put a comma there, but you caught me.
What does CCMJ stand for? I don't.
CMMNJ, Coalition for Medical Marijuana, New Jersey. Now, see if you have.
I'm a member of that one.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's what I'm talking about. The monthly meeting, second Tuesday every month, and Ken Wolski runs that, and I get to just enjoy it and jump in and out when I feel like it. So that's an easy gig.
Is that all right? It used to be on Wednesday nights.
No, it's always been Tuesday.
No, I started on one that I thought it's a coalition for medical.
No,
homegrown.
No, that's the different. That's the coalition for medical homegrown. Yeah, the coalition for homegrown. I call them. I don't know if that's the exact name.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. That's the one I. Yeah.
I want to also thank Arlo Glass and Oprah Machine and sativacross.org, where you can donate on the shop page of Sativa Cross. And our list here, and so far we're halfway through February.
Oh yeah,
almost, and we haven't added any names to this list. It's good. Last year was rough.
Yeah, the year ended rough. Yeah.
But our list here begins with Cheryl, Sabina, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Holly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger, Jay, Ella, Hattie, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Ken, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lou, Becky, Rwanda, Chip, Lisa, Marcus, Gary, Julia, Wayne, Roxy, Jill Marie, Jeff.
Miss them all.
It's a fight worth having.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just sad.
Well, I appreciate it, Lefty.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
You guys are the best, and thanks to all for listening and tuning in. That was a really good podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
Whoa. I mean,
Good stuff.
We need one more row of cameras, then we'll have the Brady Bunch.
There you go.
Right, yeah.
Hey, we could do that. Oh, by the way, our board meeting. I'd like to conclude our board meeting. Adjourn. Vote to adjourn the board meeting.
I'll
second.
second.
Do you have any more board?
No, Johnny, second that, Johnny.
Okay.
I'll second that.
There you go.
All right.
Okay, Johnny.
All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you at Cannabis Church on Sunday.
Okay. Have a great weekend, everyone. And thank
So long.
you.
Namaste.